Hey everybody, what's up? This is my fourth video in the Super Turbo series, and I'm going to start out by having a look at this Chubukov rankings chart. And this chart is designed to show you which hands can be shoved pre-flop at how many blinds. I'll just go to the top of the chart here. What we're looking at here is this right hand column, max stack for EV, that column there, and you can ignore the sort of second, third and fourth column, so they're not really relevant to us. This column on the right hand side is in small blinds, so where it says, for example, King King can be shoved at 953 small blinds unexploitably. Obviously, if we're looking at big blinds, you need to halve that number. So that's going to be good. I'm not going to test my maths, but somewhere around 470 something big blinds. Now, that's fairly obvious that ace can be shoved at any number of big blinds, and king an incredibly large number of big blinds. And these big blinds are so large that it's not really relevant to us in a heads-up sit and go. What is relevant is down around, say 10 or 11 big blinds, which is where I would start using this. So I play normal poker down to around 10 or 11 big blinds, and then I would start shoving according to the chart. So I'm heading down here, and remembering that this is in small blinds, so we want to start somewhere around King 4, or maybe let's say maybe Queen 9 offsuit, which is 23 small blinds, which is therefore about 11.5 big blinds. So therefore, once I get to 11.5 big blinds, I would then start shoving the hands on the left hand column. So anywhere from here down, all of these are shovable hands according to the number of big blinds you're at. So therefore, at 11.5 big blinds, I would be shoving Queen 9. Okay, and I would also be shoving anything which is above Queen 9. So King 5 is shovable, Jack 9 is shovable, King 6, Queen 8. And I'm just going up here. King 2 is shovable, King 3 is shovable. Yeah, that was suited, by the way, and so on. So basically, when you get to your number of big blinds, you would shove anything that was shovable at that number and above, remembering to halve this number because it's actually small blinds. So let's say that you're sitting at 8 big blinds. What can you shove? Well, 8 big blinds, you can shove Queen 6 offsuit, Queen 2 suited, and everything that goes up from there. So I hope that's an adequate description of how the chart works. I'm not claiming to be an expert on it, but that's my understanding of it. Now, should you use the chart? My answer to that would be, unless you have a reason not to use the chart, then you probably should be using it. Now, what's a reason not to use it? Well, the reason not to use it would be that your opponent is very tight and would fold to a min-raise. Or your opponent is very passive, and in fact he's still allowing you to limp and steal post-flop. Or he's very passive and he's not shoving very often at all, almost never, and therefore you've got all the time in the world and you don't really need to be that super aggressive. But if he's a standard aggressive sort of player, then I'd be using this chart. Alright, that covers what you can shove with. The chart does not show you what you can call with. And for that, we're going to go and have a look at the HeadsUp Nash equilibrium. Here it is, and I'll just make that a little bit bigger. Alright, this is the Nash chart, which most of you are familiar with, but while I'm having a look at the Chubukov, I might as well be looking at Nash as well. This top box is showing hands that you can shove with. Now, we're not going to use that because we already have the Chubukov. What we will have a look at is hands that you can call with. Now, I'll just make that larger for people. You do need to base what hands you are calling with on how frequently he is shoving. If he is shoving super frequently, then I would use the Nash chart. And by super frequently, I mean almost every hand, which sometimes you'll get people doing. I'd be using it from somewhere around, once again, 10 or 12 big blinds. And here it says, for example, at that stage, now the Nash chart is in big blinds. For example, at 12 big blinds, you can be calling 10 jack offsuit. You can be calling, obviously, 10-9 suited, and so on. Hopefully the Nash chart's a little more self-explanatory because it's in big blinds. Now, if the guy is not shoving very often, then I'm not going to be calling what it tells me I can call at 12 big blinds. I would go up about 3 or 4 big blinds. So if it says I can call at 15 big blinds, for example 10 queen offsuit, I would then call it at 12 big blinds. So you tighten up according to how aggressively he is shoving, but I wouldn't go the other way. For example, if he's shoving super aggressively and it says you can call at 12 big blinds, you start calling at 9 big blinds. You start calling at 12 big blinds. What can be called at 9 big blinds? I would only go more conservatively on the Nash chart. So that's a few minutes explaining the calling ranges and shoving ranges. I hope it's clear. If not, please leave me questions in the in the video, sort of in the section where you can leave questions or comments after the video. And I hope I haven't made any errors, that's for sure. I'm not sort of claiming to be a world expert on this stuff. This is basically what I do. It's reasonably effective. Maybe other people do things that are more effective, but this is how I play, so that's all I can really explain at this stage. Alright, let's go play some, so we'll play some 50 and 100 Super Turbos to complete this 4th video. Alright, here we are in the first match. And I've got ace-2, so you haven't missed any hands, and I think I'm just going to flat it. Sometimes I shove ace-x over the raise, and to be honest, I just tend to do that randomly. Ace-2 is not going to play well post-flop, and I wouldn't be calling it if I was any sort of shallower, from 20 big blinds or less. But at 25 big blinds, sometimes I peel with it, and sometimes I basically sort of shove with it. So it's sort of mixing up what I do with that hand, and to be honest, I'm not really sure why I do either one. Just sometimes I play it one way and sometimes I play it another way. Alright. And I could have flatted there, but I think the board was wet enough that, you know, there's enough little draws there that I want to make him pay. I mean, 8-9 is not super wet, but, you know, wet enough. Alright, this should be a fairly dry board, expecting to get a fold to my c-bet. Good. Dry in that the 8, when it's a paired board, it's essentially nearly always a dry board. Alright, king 7 is the worst king, roughly, that I'm going to call with, and I think it's a bit borderline, but I will call with it. And miss. And this with 2 sort of high cards looks like a fairly good board for him to hit for his raising range. Surprised that he didn't c-bet it. That would have got the fold. And I'm just going to bet the river here. Called mighty quick. Now when he calls mighty quick like that, it's either he's got some sort of draw, in which case he's not calling very much at all, or he's got a king. Don't think he would have called a king because I was expecting the raise, so therefore he's got a misdraw, in which case I'd better go for less value, like 60, I think. Or he's got the nuts. Yeah, misdraw and he insta-folds. So once again, as I talked about in the last video, going through the hands and thinking them through, you know, what could he have. Right, down at 10 big blinds, king jack is a shove, so shove it. If he calls with a better hand, he calls with a better hand, which he does. But we've still got a lot of equity here. Not so much after that flop. And we missed, no problem. It was the correct play. Just going back to have a think about that king jack hand, if I had raised and he shoved, I would have been committed to call. So, you know, I think the shove is clear. It was a very, very clear shove. Alright, King 7, and I'm down around, what, 13 big blinds, roughly. This is, you know, if I was around sort of lower than this, I think I'm definitely folding. I think I just peel one time, right on the edge. I mean, it's probably a fold. Now I'm in a very difficult spot, and if you see bets, that's for sure. In fact, I'll probably have to give it up. I don't think bottom pair's going far. Alright, so now at 11 big blinds, so I'm either going to be shoving or folding pre-flop at this stage from my button. And fold this. I actually don't know the Chipkov chart 100%. I probably know like 80%, so I could make an error here. Oh, and that would have been an easy shove. I might come across a hand which I think is not shovable, which is actually shovable. So, because I don't know the chart 100%, but, you know, will be close. And Queen 5. How many big blinds is that shovable at? Offsuit. Alright, I'm at 11. Alright, I'll fold. Right, no, I'm not going to be able to fit the chart in as well as the screen here. It'll be flicking back and forth, which is annoying. So we'll just have to put up with me having imperfect knowledge of it. You can have it up there and play and next to you when you're playing. Alright, that works. So 385 chips. What's that? Almost 10 big blinds, and he's folding a lot from his small blinds. So now we can talk about calling ranges. This is a guy who is shoving so infrequently. And we've shoved into his ace again. We win one of these, please? Nope. Nope. He's shoving so infrequently that I would tighten up my calling range against this guy. And we'll decline him and go play someone else. And the second match here. So let's see how we go. Alright, King Jack. Pretty easy min raise. I'm probably min raising everything against an unknown opponent. Well, almost everything. You know, sometimes I'm not. I start folding junk. Alright, and when he does this huge sort of 7x raise, I'm thinking to myself, yum. Wait for a hand, shove over the top. Of course, you can't wait forever. And I'm going to c-bet here, and even though I have sort of a gut shot and 2 overs, well, that's not a bad card, is it? I'm not going to get, I mean, that gives me like basically 40% against one pair, but I'm not keen to get it in 40% if I've got a choice, and now he's flat calling. Oh, this has got to be lovely. Just got to shove the river here, I think. Yeah, with a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I think he should call. Oh, a lot of guys will call theirs. They figure there's a straight in the board. And now he's limping, so it's gone from a massive pre-flop raise to a limp, which is pretty interesting. And not attacking my min raises pre-flop, so I'll keep them up until he does, and then I'll slow down. In fact, he's even folding to them. That's lovely. Alright, so even though he made that 7x raise, I think he actually might be reasonably tight. I think he's just doing that with a hand, trying to get value, sort of move that you make against fish. Which obviously means it should have worked against me, even though it didn't. And he's not betting this. That king's just a terrible card. That means if I hit my 9 for the straight, then puts a higher straight, a fairly obvious higher straight, which means, you know, no value, and it's just a shocking card for me. So let this go, and yeah, my 8 is no good. Fairly conservative from him. Keep raising until he makes me stop. And insta-call. This is not a good flop because the queen and jack will be in his calling range. And yeah, okay, now we just got to hit our 9. And now we can't even hit the 9 of clubs. It's looking worse. And he does check really quickly. Like he's not very strong here. We'll just have to find out what he's got. I'm not going to fire a second barrel. Ace 5. Wow. So I think from this guy's timing, I can probably get a fairly accurate feel for how strong he is. Just the fact that he was checking so quickly there. And now I'm going to fold this junk. He didn't shove over my raise with ace 5 either, which means that, you know, I think he's got a fairly conservative shoving sort of range, and I'm basically going to forget that first 7x that he did, or 8x or whatever it was, and concentrate on the fact that since then it's been very tight. Well, not tight, I mean he called ace-x, which wasn't standard, but fairly tight. Alright, I wonder if we could limp, if that would do us any good. No, well, we tried, I guess, and now he checks really quickly. Yeah, okay, so I think he's got timing tells that I can take advantage of. Now let's just take advantage of them. And here it's going to be 2 barrels because he's, it's 2 barrels because the 10 puts a lot of draws on the board, which means he's very likely to call the turn bet. But as long as the draws miss on the river, he's very likely to fold to the river bet. So that when I bet that Jack 10-9 spot, it's always 2 barrels or 0. I hope that makes sense to you. Just write questions in the comment box if you're not sure. But I think it should be self-explanatory. Like when the ball gets a little bit wetter, you think you're getting called a lot. So if you bet it, you've got to fire a second barrel there. And if you're betting on the flop, you've got to fire a third barrel. Alright. And I'll just shove over his limp here. Could have raised, but you know, shove's good enough. And let's see what happens when I limp again. Does he let me limp, or is he going to shove? Yep, he lets me limp. Very nice, sir. I think I can limp and stab against this guy in the endgame. I don't need to be super aggressive. If he's going to let me limp and stab, then I am going to limp and stab. That's a pretty good flop, and we can see the big pause from him here, which means he's hit it. Or he thinks he's hit it. He's just trying to bluff me, wasn't he? That was weird. Very odd. Just have a stab here, see if we get anywhere. No, instant call. So I think he's got an 8 or a 4 there. But you can tell with this guy. And I'm out of position, so I can't see his alright, Queen 6, he had a flush draw. You can't see his him checking before us to know whether to steal on the river or not. 2-3, a monster. Getting myself into trouble here. Maybe I should just bet the flop and be done with it. That would have been better. Ah, I messed that up. Should have simply bet 80 on the flop, I think, and made him fold. And maybe I should be limping a little more. He's not attacking any of my limps. It might pay to get me some flops. Don't raise, please. Good. Alright, we'll limp this instead because we can outplay the first flop. I just haven't managed to do it. Yeah, good. And not the greatest flop in the world, but I've got queen high. He has seen me bet the turns a lot, and I don't think I've got much respect for my turn bet. So therefore I'm not going to bet the turn there, and I think he hit the 9 or something. Or yours, buddy. Just from the way he paused on that 9, I think he might have hit it. Alright, shove ace 3. Even though I can be limping still. But I just think I'll limp the worst hands and stab. And things that are really obviously shovable, I'll shove. And we'll get this in if he wants to raise. Alright, wish me luck. And he raises and folds. That's a fairly large sin for this number of big blinds to raise and fold. And shove this over his limp. His limp's strong, good for him. Yes, he has. And no love. but I got nothing wrong with the play. So he's raising on junkier hands, and then limping strong hands. Okay, good for you, sir. Alright, I'm going to shove this to pretty shovable, and I don't really want him limping, and you know, even though it plays reasonably well, and fold that, even though I can get into hands very, very easily against this guy, still fold it. And let's see a flop this time. And we're missing everything. Good night. We're in trouble. Could we hit our 30%? We've had 2 of them. Yes, yay. Guess when you add up all the times I've been in over both matches, I was finally due to hit something at some stage. Oh god, is actually gonna call it. Alright, I hate this. Oh, he's got me dominated too, even worse. Yeah, never mind. We hit our 3-outer. We hit our 3-outer on the river. Yeah. That last one, it was costing me 100 chips. There's already 120 in the pot, I think, if my maths is correct. I think I had to call it, even though I didn't really want to. Alright, so that's 2 matches in. I think we'll play one more 50 and then play a couple of hundreds. Alright, so 3rd match here at the 50s, and after which I'll go play some hundreds. And let's see what this opponent's all about. Alright, dry board because it's paired, so we're going to c-bet. And he folds, so that's good. He's not going to give us trouble on the paired boards, I like that. And he's a limper, which I also like. Get a free chance to see some flops. I'm not going to call it my gut shot or anything silly like that. Keep on racing and see how he deals with it. If he gets aggressive, then I'll slow down. And he does. So I'll stop raising sort of absolute junk. I'll see if I can limp it. Speaking of absolute junk, we're getting some in this match. Alright, so he's got a limping and a raising range, which means that perhaps I can shove over his limping range. See what he does to my limp. And lets me limp. And I think he's going to let me stab. Yeah. He seems typical, sort of a fairly tight player. And ace-king, I can 3-bet this or I can shove it. I'd prefer to shove it, but we're so shallow I might just 3-bet. And that's a good flop for us. Whoops. I'll try, let me think about a c-bet size here, about 100 should do. And he insta-folds. So I wasn't expecting to call my 3-bet there. I think that was a little bit loose of him. And I might fold. This is a game flow thing. I've just taken a hand off him, reasonably big sized pot, so I'm not going to then limp the next hand and give him an easy attack of my limp, so to speak. Alright, let's try limping king 2, see what he does. Does he shove? No, he attacks it, yeah, okay. So he's reasonably aggressive. I would say he probably fits into, even though he's not either raising or folding pre-flop, he's probably tight aggressive. Or perhaps tighter than tight, on the tight side of tight aggressive. Alright, let's raise. I don't really want to limp and have him raise and commit himself. I'm only got ace-4, and we're just hitting everything that moves, aren't we? Better check it. I know it's got 2 spades there and stuff, and it's wet enough. Alright, bet the turn here, giving him a chance to catch up, and no go. Right on the edge at 10 big blinds. I think I'm gonna. Alright, I'll call it. It's just such a tough spot whether I should call or fold. I guess the fact that it's suited makes it close to a call. And this board is not developing in a nice way at all. All yours, sir. That's a bonus, get a fold on our 6-2 there. Let's try the limp and see if he attacks it. So we can obviously shove. He did last time, and no, he doesn't this time. Nice timing, sir. And I'm going to bet this, and I think I'm about to regret it. Nope, works out. Beautiful. When in doubt, bet. Alright, how many big blinds are we now? We're at about 8.5 big blinds. So time to get our shove on, I think. Let's see if we can limp 10-8 still. We may have a chance again. Yes, we can. Beautiful. And hit top pair. But top pair is not high enough to trap with. I'd be trapping with like a maybe a queen, king, or ace if I hit that sort of top pair. Might have to shove this. If he's trapping me, he's trapping me. Good. I mean, that's a free sort of blind and a half, so definitely worth taking. And this is shovable, so we'll shove it, and he catches a hand, but we've got some outs. And missed them all. Oh, hit one on the turn. Run good for the win. Alright, so now we get to the exciting $100 level, and we'll play one or two matches at that level before we call it a day. So starting with ace jack, obviously I'm going to call a shove if he wants to shove over the top, and that's a pretty fair flop. And dry enough, I think I'm going to just flat him. If he's got 2-4 or queen 3 or something, he wins. Alright, it looks like he was just stabbing because he was, oh, maybe he's got a queen or a 5. Alright, if he's got a queen, I think about 145, I don't think I'm getting anything. And if he shoves here, I feel sick. Nope. Okay. Fairly aggressive him to lead up into me. In hindsight, I think he must have had the 5. That's the only thing I think he'd lead and then call on. And looks like he's raising most of his buttons. But he hasn't been too aggressive attacking my min raises. Just see bet here, see what he does. Might give us trouble on a paired board, might not. Nope, gives it up. Thank you, sir. And 15, what is he at? I guess 17 big blinds. I'm just going to call this. Not going to get over. Not going to go overplay it. We'll now give it up on the flop, or not. That's an interesting card. A little gutty for us. And all yours, sir. This is an interesting hand, ace-x, when he's got like 18 big blinds. Considering how he's been from the big blind, I'd probably fold if he shoved there. He hasn't been shoving me a lot from his big blind. So that deep, I'm probably folding ace-x there. And the min 3 bet, we are in trouble. We'll call and try and hit 2 pair. And now we're just going to give up. Very interesting. What he's trying to represent here is maybe ace-king or ace-queen by the min raise and lack of a c-bet, or perhaps pocket 10s. Or 9s. So I think the most likely hand for his ace-king or ace-jack. Oh, that's not a good card. If he's got ace-jack, he's now hit it. Yeah, it looks like ace-jack then. Just from the fact that he didn't see that the flop there. Alright, this is a little bit below my calling range, but we'll peel one off. Hit middle pair and be in a really tough spot. I think we're going to raise and then fold to his shove. He might be trapping us here. Yeah, he was. Doing the old wounded fish. Nice play, sir. Might limp and see if that gets us any help. Nope. But we hit a pretty good flop. And he's led these sort of flops before. Let's try it again. And this is going to be shoved over his min raise if he had a min raise, which he didn't. And I might try the limping trick one more time. Surely he'll wake up. No. So the good news is he lets us limp. We'll just have to keep that in mind. Let's tighten right up too. Just going to shove this. I don't really want to limp it, and I don't want to min raise it either. Why don't I min raise it? It's not really going to play that well post flop, and limping is okay, but he hasn't attacked my limps, which means that. Alright, now I guess we have to get in now. If you're middle pairing, if he's got a queen, he's got a queen. Alright, we have to get it in. If you've got a queen, you win, sir. Yes, he does. Right, bad luck. Oh, second pair, nice. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he was playing kind of funny, like the small bet, and then then he bet sort of bigger when he hits. So hard to know. And we run into pocket tens, very nice. Oh, and flop big. That's funny. That doesn't happen all the time. I can assure you, don't normally run like that. And decent hand to call his shove with. Yep, ahead of his queen nine. We're back in it. One more double up and we'll have the lead. And that double up's not going to be 4-3. Or 3-7, I'm going to fold that if he shoves. And he doesn't shove, which is very nice of him. Alright, 7 big blinds. 10-9, in you go. Let's think about folding and does. Excellent. 8 big blinds. And yeah, he's really tightened up this guy, so we'll have to be a little careful if he shoves. And I'm going to fold this. Haven't checked the chart on Jack 7. I'm just probably shove up that many big blinds, but I've been shoving a lot. And doesn't matter if he raises me or shoves. I'm definitely snapping with 7s. And queens, I'll just min raise. Give him a chance to do something silly, which he doesn't. He's tightened up, this guy. And we just keep on getting hand after hand. Awesome. Ahead. Oh, running like someone that runs very, very well. We've had all the luck in this one, that's for sure. But we haven't won it yet. We still need one more hand for that. And hopefully this will be it. Yeah, not completely dominated. Then him with a flip. And he flips. He's out-flipped us. Fair enough, sir. You deserve that, that's for sure. And we'll just shove this. Alright, I think we can also get a bit of an edge by out-shoving this guy because he is tight. As long as he doesn't run into a hand, please. Don't run into a hand, sir. Yeah, he's very tight in the endgame, so shoving, according to Chubakov, would be fine against this guy because he's just not calling wide enough, I don't think. So we'll shove the Jack 7 this time. Hopefully get a fold, please. No, damn. Right, same spot as before. Can we hit? Yes. Oh, we ran good. Alright, and he's declined the rematch. Alright, we'll do one more, I think. Alright, this is the last match. Let's see how we go. So, min raising everything until they stop me from doing that, unless I just really hate the hand. King 3, I would probably not call King 3 even this deep. I mean, I hope I haven't gone and called in other videos, but I'm constantly kind of trying to redefine my calling ranges. This person looks really, really tight. Folding the first 3 and then 3xing, so we shall stay out of her way when she's 3xing, that's for sure. And just keep raising from the button, see what she does. She keeps folding, lovely. You can do that all the way for the next 20 odd big blinds if you want, young lady. Alright, so it's 3x or nothing for this person. Might limp and see if she wants to attack me after all those raises. Nope. Not a bad flop though. I'm running good. I normally don't run this good, I swear. And got a call. Wonder what she could be calling. Well, maybe a flush draw. Not much. I can't imagine having much in this spot. Yeah. And now she min raises. Well, I've got a shove here. Just because I think that normally with people that 3x a lot when they min raise, it's a very weak raise, as that one was. And might limp this because I don't want to raise after having shoved over her raise, because I think they're going to attack. I could have folded as well, but she hadn't actually been aggressive to that point. I'm not going to get carried away and go to shove 3-4 over the min raise, though I could. Just because it looks like her min raise is weak. And back to the old 3x, yeah. Alright, so I will be taking advantage of the min raise, just not with 3-4, I don't think. Let's see how she goes with my raise. Good, I'm still folding. At a7 there's an interesting spot. Over her 3x, I would probably have... how many blinds are we here? Alright, deep enough that I'm folding because she hasn't shoved yet. Over her 3x, I would be in a really tough spot, but certainly over the min raise, I'd simply shove it. Alright, let her limp, but she hasn't limped yet. And we pick up a little draw. Now I have to fire 2 barrels if I bet. Why am I firing 2 barrels? Because the board got wet enough that she'll call on a draw, and therefore when the draw misses on the river, I need to fire the second barrel. Okay, she's getting a bit aggressive here. And we'll just shove over her limp. If she limps strong, good for her. But she didn't. Haven't seen the 3x yet either. I'm going to try the limp, see if she shoves over my limp. No, good. And we'll give that up. She did bet the last paired board too, so she might just automatically bet paired boards. And a hand, please. Alright, I think I'll shove ace5 if she's got a better hand. She can call. She has. Nope, same hand. And that's a pretty good flop because I'm not going to get 4 flushed. Which is always a relief. Alright. Kind of shocked that she called ace5 for my first shove. I'm going to try min raising this and don't get shoved on. Alright, she's getting all aggressive on me. Okay, hand please. So she started out really tight and now it's got very aggressive, which is good poker. So I'm not going to be able to min raise and fold anymore. And this is a clear shove. She has a hand, which she doesn't. And folds my jacks, nice timing. Queen 8. I'm sure the chart's going to probably say I can shove it, I'm not really sure, so I'm going to fold it and be conservative. I should check the chart to get a little bit more certain about those sort of medium hands. And Queen 8's a perfect example of I'm pretty sure I shuffle, but I need to check. Alright, a6 is clearly shuffleable. And she hasn't hit a hand, good. So this person's quite aggressive in the endgame. She's quite aggressive, but not super aggressive, so I'd probably be using the Nash chart plus 3 big blinds for my calling range against her. And please, nope. Thank goodness you didn't shove that. I wouldn't like to call King 7. In fact, I probably wouldn't. The best king, or the worst king I'm probably calling it, is around sort of King 9. And she's tightened up. Okay. Shove my Jack 10. And insta-call with A6. Now we just need to suck it up. No can do. Alright, so that completes this fourth video. If you've got any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments and I'll get to them as soon as I can.